Welcome back to the Set Apart Style podcast. I am Nash Amber, your host, and today I have a very, very special guest on the podcast with me. Do you want to say hey?
This is my first podcast, by the way, so I'm very last year.
Really? Oh my gosh, I feel so honoured. Welcome. So I have the lovely Pelumi with us today. Pelumi, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit and tell the people who you be?
Yes, and if I do forget anything, just prompt me. But
100%.
Hey everyone, I'm Pelumi. You may know me from The Letter Well. If you've been on socials for a long time, you may know me from Care for Your Hair days. I used to have a natural hair blog that I set up. So
Yes.
yeah, that is me.
That's actually how I knew your face. You used to have these amazing posts all the time on Instagram, back when Instagram was not about building brands.
When it was just fun.
About it was when it was just fun and your feed didn't have to be created.
Was using, what was it, the Valencia filters and stuff.
Yes. Back then, Instagram days, I remember seeing your stuff and then you kind of just disappeared for some years. And I was just like, oh, she disappeared. And the thing is, it was really nice seeing you because you were one of the few UK natural hair, like, kind of influencers. We didn't have the word influencer back then. Well, we were just bloggers. Yeah, so, like, a natural hair blogger in the UK.
Thing would take off, I would have stuck around and got paid.
You would have got paid.
But yeah, that was like such a long time ago now.
When did you start and finish it?
I started Care for Your Hair, I'd say about 18 or 19. So yeah, that's 2018. Or 2008, should I say? Yeah, like that started like on a whim. So this is very unlike me, not my personality at all.
Really?
Like one day I just had enough. I had enough of my hair. So let me even backtrack a little bit more. I, in college, wanted to go natural before I knew what going natural was. But I was just like, really,
that's like me as well.
I'm fed up with relaxing my hair. There's no point. Like I relax it, but I have it in a bun anyway. Like I'm just burning my scalp. I don't like this. And I tried to stop relaxing and I guess transition, but that was just too hard. And being that young as well, like people were just like, what are you doing? Like your hair, like look at your hair, you need to do something. So I gave in. But then around 18, I was just like, I really can't do this, and just cut my hair. I am not an impulsive person. So yeah, I literally just cut my hair. I literally just cut it. And I was just like, okay, what am I going to do now? I've got a wedding to attend tomorrow and I've got no hair on my head. Yeah, I was just like, I've got no hair on my head. So I just went. I remember, I think the week later, I had a choir practice. This was the first time I'd seen people close to me, and I remember someone in church was like, are you okay? Are you well? Who's broken your heart? They went to speak to my mom. My dad saw me, he was crying, like it was big. And back then it wasn't the done thing, so everyone was looking at me like, surely there's something wrong. And it was quite hard, but I just knew that, look, I'm tired of this, I'll figure it out, I'll work it out. And as it grew, family, friends, the same people that were like, hey, look at you, what is it, what has happened? We're like, what are you using? Like your hair is growing and it's growing beautifully, like it actually looks nice. So having to answer that question a million times just made me think, let me just start a Facebook group. That was the easiest way to do it. And it went from a Facebook group to a blog, because I just thought, okay, this is really, really grown. And outside of Facebook, I want my own thing. So yeah, I did that, and that's how it started essentially.
So how did it really feel for you starting back then? Because I remember seeing your content, right, and thinking, this is amazing. Like, you were one of the few UK people who were actually talking about natural hair and doing content and stuff like that. I was doing it a little bit on my pages and stuff, but you literally had a dedication to hair, and yeah, like what else did you kind of do at that time? Because there wasn't like the influencer world that we have now. But what kind of things did you find yourself doing with your space?
Yeah, so it was such an exciting time, I think, because everything was so new. So I'm sure Instagram was kind of around then or just coming up.
Yeah.
But I remember when I started, I wasn't on Instagram. It was mainly Facebook that was reigning at the time. And yeah, it was just so exciting because everything was done from the pure and the sheer love of just wanting to share information, especially as I'm sure you know, the UK hair scene was just dead. Like when it came to, you know, when it came to natural hair, information, products, what did we have?
Products, we had nothing.
There was no Cantu, no share, nothing.
Nothing, just that olive oil from the relaxer
you know,
days.
and what's it? And pink, that
And
luster pink.
We're suffering in the
You
UK.
know, so honestly, like when I look back, at the time I was using like your Tresemme and all of these other products that did work well in the hopes of finding something that would work for our hair. And then doing that, got to collaborate with brands, even
You were
got to
even doing
host.
collaboration from back then.
Yeah, but
Come on.
mate, yeah, it was a special time, and I think some of the things I'm really proud of, from the small things, you know, being able to meet new people and share, to the big things like hosting events. And at this time, I'm like 19, 20. When I look back on it, I'm like, girl, you were doing some things.
You were.
So in 2011, I had an event, my first event with Felicia Leatherwood, which some people may know of, some people may not. But she is a celebrity hairstylist. She's done the likes of Jada Pinkett Smith,
How did you
Jill
get that
Scott.
going?
Listen, when I look back, I don't know. It was, I guess, just favor and things just meant to be, because we connected through Facebook with myself being one of the few UK bloggers, and she was just like, "Oh, like I do tours everywhere. It would be amazing to come to the UK. Like, let's partner." And I thought, fantastic, like amazing. And still to this day, she's such a good friend. So I did that, and then an event the following year with Mahisha from Curls. I don't know if you've heard of the brand called Curls.
No, I haven't heard of that. No.
Yeah, see, I'm sure if you were to see it, you may recognize it. So she's got a really big brand. We did something together, and then from then it was like working with Afro Hair and Beauty and doing other things. And yeah, it was amazing. It was good.
No, it really was. To see from the outside there, looking at what you were doing, it was really encouraging to see it. It was so encouraging. You were literally like a trailblazer in owning that space for natural hair.
Yeah.
And then I remember at some point you just disappeared. Like I remember thinking, yo, did I unfollow? Wait, and you know, you like when you do that, the check, you go to the person's Instagram account because you're like, maybe it's me, maybe the algorithm back then was messing us up. I went there, I was like, oh, last posted. I was like, okay, maybe she's doing one of those. She's disappeared. Maybe she's getting married. You know, that happened and stuff. Came back, still nothing. I was like, no, something's happening here. And then I don't know how long the timeline was, but I remember then seeing the beautiful brand that you have today, which is the Letterwell.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, who be this? What is this? Because I love like Etsy and all of that kind of stuff. And anything kind of scripted and personalized, I'm here for it. And then again, I was like, this is beautiful. But I don't think I realized straight away that you were the same person with both brands. So please let us know, how was that for you? How did you go from hair to what you do now? Yeah, calligraphy. By the way, you have to check out the Letterwell. If you don't know, it is a plug. Like, you need to check it out.
Oh, thank you so much. Do you know what? I think there are a couple of things. So I think as the natural hair community grew, it just, and as it grew on Instagram as well, it became a little bit overwhelming.
In what way?
In the sense that Instagram now, and even then, was a place where you literally have to share everything. And the purpose of my content then was mainly just sharing information. So it wasn't really watch me style hair, because trust me, I live in a bun 24/7. I cannot. And I'm
You
sure
lived up to you lived up to the name of care for your hair. It
yeah,
was all about
it's
hair
just hair
care.
care. Yeah. So Instagram didn't really work in that sense. And I also, more than that, just realized that, do you know what? Like, this has served its purpose, and this has done what it was intended to do. And at that
But
time,
how did you know? No. The
do
reason
you
I'm asking is because
yeah,
I feel like in my own journey, like it took me a long time, for
yeah,
example, even to get to the position to finally say, I'm gonna drop the name Set Apart Star and just be Nash Amber. It took me like over a year to really come to terms with it,
yeah,
because it's like you get so attached to the
to it,
thing you do,
definitely.
it becomes almost like, even though it's not your identity, it becomes a heavy part of how you introduce yourself. Like, hi, I'm Nash of Set Apart. So it's like,
Yeah.
if I don't have that anymore, what am I?
What is it?
So who is Nash?
Yeah.
So for me, it's a kind of like, how would you say you knew, like, oh, this has served its purpose? Because I'm sure you saw other natural hair people really taking off.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know. So yeah, how did you know for sure for yourself that no, this is time to move on and I shouldn't like fight it?
I think for me personally, it was trying to still carry on, and it just not being natural or organic or easy anymore. And I kind of, like I said, I just had a feeling that, okay, do you know what? Like, I've done what it needed to do. This is now time for other people to rise up. And I saw it happening. And if I was doing things in myself or out of selfishness, or, let me just stay here to get the bag, I would have
Yeah.
carried on, but it wouldn't have been coming from a place of love or joy. And again, I said I started this about like 18, 19. By this point, I was maybe like 25. So that's quite a lot of years we've
There's
put
a
in.
lot of years.
It's
It
a lot of
is.
years.
A lot of years.
I'd say about 24, 25. And I just realized, you know what, like, there is just so much more in me, so much more I want to share. And yeah, like, it was definitely laid on my heart that, this chapter has closed, but it's closed on such a beautiful note. And when I look back on it, I don't feel bad, I don't feel sour, I don't feel like I abandoned it or I failed in any way. It was more like, this has served its purpose for the time it was needed. Because the time it rose and was doing what it needed, like, there was absolutely nothing. There was no information,
100%.
nothing at all. When I look back, and not just UK bloggers, the US ones too, I look back and you look at these ORS brands, who started calling them ORS? It was the influencers of that time. It was the bloggers. Who started the trends like pre-poo and all these? It was the bloggers for that time. So just seeing those things live on now,
it's amazing.
Is amazing. And it's like, you know what? I did what I had to do. So
no, you did it.
yeah,
You contributed heavily, like, into the area, honestly, and I'm very grateful for what you did. And I
yeah,
think seeing you evolve and grow and do other things is so encouraging to see.
yeah.
Like, you definitely have been you probably didn't even know it, but in a strange way from a distance before, you were somebody who really encouraged me, because I was like, if she can do it, I can do it too. Like,
Oh, definitely.
I'm allowed to do other things. And yeah, seeing you doing it, it's really encouraging. And now you're a wife, you're a mom, and you're still doing it and you're juggling it all. And I think something that you said that I think really resonated with me is when you said it has served its time.
Definitely.
I feel like sometimes, as women, especially Christian women, sometimes, because we really hang on to the word and what has God said, and I'm waiting to be led and all of these things we say, sometimes we can stay in situations longer than we need to, when you don't have the joy anymore. You don't have what's inspiration to keep doing it either and stuff. So
Definitely.
I really commend you so much for knowing that time and knowing when it was time to move on.
Oh, thank you.
Because now the letter well lives.
It does. And even looking back on that time, I had like just a strong feeling of peace. And knowing that, like I said, it served its purpose. Like, that sense of peace just kind of made it so easy for me to move on and explore all the other things I was interested in. And like you said, us being Christians, when I think of not the letter, well, care for your hair, I just think of Ecclesiastes 3 that says, there's a time for everything to serve its purpose. There's a time for everything. And sometimes if we try and prolong that and work outside of that, the whole essence for why it's created, it just gets lost. You're not walking in purpose. You're not walking in, like what you're supposed to do. At this point, it's just from self. And some people may be listening to this and thinking, oh, but it's just hair care. But it was, for me, like a form of like ministry in a way, helping women find themselves, find their true beauty. That was what it was about, as well as hair care. And also, whether natural or relaxed, just loving who you are, not having to rely on a weave, not having to rely on braids, not having to rely on a lace front to feel beautiful. But knowing that with those things, I can wear them if I like. If I don't have them, I'm still wonderfully created. So, yeah, just knowing that that message had been sent out just gave me peace to move on. And then, the letter well was birthed, and it had been something I'd always kind of been doing on the side. So I was one of those girls at school that when it was like a group task and it was time to make a poster, I'm like, right, give it here. I need to be the one to write it out. You guys are not going to mess this up.
Oh my God.
That's
amazing.
So
were you always doing like calligraphy even from like that time, or did you have to train yourself in how to do it?
I wouldn't say I was doing it properly then, but like people would give me their scrapbooks to help design or, make beautiful or write on some of the pages. So I dabbled in it then, but I didn't even know calligraphy was a thing. I just liked writing in different ways. And then, I decided to create an Instagram page for that. And then I found the calligraphy community through that, which was really nice. And I've basically just taught myself. So everything I do, everything I know now is self-taught.
Outstanding. Wow, girl, you really done it. You're doing it. It's so good.
Oh, thank you.
How did you, like, when you knew, okay, I'm going to do calligraphy, did you straight away know, for example, what direction you were going to do? As in, oh, I'm going to do products, or I'm going to do, personalized books for people. Like, did you know straight away, or how did you figure that out?
It was a little bit of a journey. So starting it was more just to share my craft and encourage people through like posts. But as I did that, people were like, oh, this post is really nice. I'd love to have it in my room or in my office desk. Like, can I buy this anywhere? So I thought, oh, okay, the interest is there. Why not? So I was doing that for a while, and people were then asking me to, personalized scrapbooks for people. I believe you got one of those scrapbooks.
Yes, I did. I have it in my home.
Friends.
I love it.
Yeah, so I was getting asked to do that, to create things for people's weddings, for PR events, which was all amazing. But recently I've decided to kind of strip it all back and go back to my why and why I started Letterwell, which was to encourage women, to inspire them, whether it be through prints, through cards, through the posts I do, and separate myself from like all the wedding stuff that I was doing.
Really? Because I would think, again, everyone has a different focus, but I would think the coin is in the weddings, because everybody's be getting married that you will never lack.
Exactly. It's so true. It is so true. But again, I think this is me going back to, like purpose and why I started it, and walking out of that. Although, yep, there were some coins there. I just wasn't happy doing it. I do it for people that ask. I do it for family and friends. But I was just like, this is not the direction the letter will, is meant to go in. And the more I did that, the more I steered away from the reason why it was created. So yeah, I've had to really just kind of strip back and move back into that direction.
No, good on you, girl. No, honestly, it's really great to see how you constantly kind of evaluate and you stop and you kind of think, is this what I want to do or not? Because I think it's really easy in our time now to get kind of caught up with what's popular, what's hot,
Definitely.
what are people doing, what are they saying, but to really stop in your tracks and say, okay, now what was I supposed to bring? What was I supposed to do in this space? I think is one of the most powerful questions, and sometimes we just don't ask it enough.
Yes, definitely. And I'd say as well, like being on a platform like Instagram and any social media platform is beautiful in the sense that you can share and connect, but it can be so distracting. Like if you don't have your blinders on, you're almost looking at, okay, what's this person doing over here? And oh, this person's asked me to do this. Do you know what? Let me just jump on that when that's not the lane you're supposed to be in. So yeah, like this year for me, I went into it knowing that, you know, it's okay to switch lanes, to switch back to where you're supposed to be. It's okay to carry on that path, and yeah, just constantly reminding yourself of why you do things, and why you started, you know, what you're doing. That's something I think about a lot.
And I love it. And I also love your word for 2021. I was watching your stories this week and you were talking about how you gave yourself the word of do it.
Yes. Do.
Well, tell us a bit about that. So are you somebody who you feel like maybe you've sat on some ideas or you've procrastinated?
Definitely. I mean, who hasn't at some point? But
we all have.
Yeah, like there have been some things that I've wanted to do over the years, and I think again with me kind of veering off into the things other people wanted me to do, I neglected the things that I know I was called to do and I needed to do for the letter well. And I'd go to my vision board, as we all do, end of the year, and be like, okay, this year I want to do this, but then I get distracted, and it just got to a point where I thought, you know, I've had enough of this. Like, these things have been on my heart for 2 years now, if not a bit longer. This is the year of doing. No more talking about it.
Yes.
Let's work towards it. Yeah. Even if it's not, you know, accomplishing everything all in a year, it's making those necessary steps towards it. And every little step brings you one step closer to, you know, something. So that has been my word, to just do. I've done enough talking, I've done enough praying, I've done enough sticking things on the vision board.
Love it.
I've done enough saving things. It's like, okay, when are you actually gonna move? Faith without works is dead. So yeah.
What would you say to the sister who's like, okay, I hear you, sis, Pelumi, I hear you, but you are Pelumi of the letter world. Look how amazing your stuff is. Look at where you are. I haven't even started yet. Because for me, I think what I've seen or heard like ladies sometimes speak to me about is the whole, I do want to start Nash, but I know nobody in industry. I don't know I don't have connections. So how is my product, my idea, my service going to be seen and known when I don't have those connections? And yeah, it can be a massive like reason why they don't do it, if that makes sense. Especially when, for example, if you've already got a following with something like Care for Your Hair, to then the idea of just stopping to then go and start a brand new thing, it can feel like, but I've already done the work for 4 or 5 years. Am I really going to stop to go and start a new thing that may not work? So could you maybe share with us, I don't know, some ideas or some thoughts or even your own story when you haven't had things go your way, or when you felt like, I don't know what I'm doing, and do I want to should I pack this in? Like, do you have any stories like that can encourage sisters that just feel like, I wish I could be where you are right now, but I don't think it could happen for me?
It's a really good question. I think that it's funny because we look at maybe some of the people we aspire to. In this case, you might be thinking, oh, the letter well. And if you are, thank you so much. But yeah, like I started from zero with both things. From zero. Like, not everything you start will, you know, generate like millions of followers. And sometimes if that's not even your intention, you work even better. Like when I think of Care for Your Hair, I don't think it was going to be what it was. For me, it was just like a family group on Facebook, so I can avoid like repeating myself a million times. and just put everything there. And that was from zero. At 18, I didn't know anybody in the hair industry. I didn't know brands. I didn't know anything, but I was just sharing out of love and just sharing, you know, what I wanted to. And organically, it grew. And I think that's the main thing. Like, we are people, we connect with people. And I'm sure if you think of the people you connect with the most, it's because there is a story. You know, they're doing it from the bottom of their heart. You know that they're doing it from an authentic place. And I think like that resonates well with other people. So if you just start something because you know that this is really what I want to do, the people that you are making it for, they will come. They will come. They will, you know, engage with your content. And yeah, like I'd say not to worry as well. The time is going to pass anyway. So if you sit on something that you've been wanting to do, you will just look back in a year's time thinking, I could have started that a year ago, you know? So I'd say go for it, and don't be distracted by the fact that, okay, you're starting from ground zero. You'll never know who you will meet on the journey of starting something new. I believe that with everything you start, there will always be journey helpers. There'll be people that you meet along the way that you just think, wow. Like when I think of some of my closest friends, they were from the hair care world, and to this day I'm just like, oh my gosh, like we literally met and bonded over hair. How crazy is that?
Amazing.
So yeah, I'd say like nothing is too small to start. Definitely don't despise those small beginnings, and just keep your blinders on. And again, like, be a reflective person. Remind yourself, okay, why am I steering into a new direction, or why am I starting something new? And that will carry you.
I agree, and I think that's really some very, very good advice. Very wise, mature advice for somebody who's living it out. And you're doing it, and you're doing really well.
Yeah.
You're doing so well.
Because even for me, like, it was really scary having to say, and I only said this the other day, that okay, I'm not really doing wedding stuff anymore, and that is really scary.
How was the reaction?
Yeah, like some people are like, oh my gosh, because I've had to turn down, and I've, to be honest, stopped doing it since maybe like 2019, because I got pregnant around that time too, so it was just easy for me to be like, yeah, I can't do that. But yeah, some people have been like, oh my gosh, but it's just not the direction it's supposed to go in, and I could keep doing that and eventually fall out of love completely with what I'm doing, or just kind of reel it in and go back in that direction. So yeah, like I feel you. It's scary. Change is not easy, but change is necessary to grow. So
it is, and that's it. Change is necessary for growth, and that's how I feel right now. I feel like I'm in that place of still transitioning out of the old and exploring the new and stuff, and being a wife and a new mom and stuff. There's a lot more to consider now for me. But I'm excited for the journey ahead.
Yeah,
I'm really excited.
You should be. I think we don't have enough conversations about things ending, and ending beautifully, and ending at the right time. Like, there's a lot of conversation about, you know, just growth, keep going, how many years you put in and stuff. But sometimes things come to an end, and it's not a bad breakup. Like, nothing bad has happened. It's just like, look, I've poured out from this cup, and there ain't nothing left no more. So this has come to a beautiful end. Like, when I think of Care for Your Hair, I just think of a beautiful journey and a beautiful end. I don't think I could have possibly taken it any further, even if I tried. So I'd say that to just encourage, like, there's beauty in knowing that you've poured all you can out, and there's beauty in knowing that, okay, this finished, and it's finished well. For those people that, you know, are worried about the end, just know that you haven't failed. Ending something doesn't mean you failed. You haven't abandoned it. You haven't done anything wrong. It's just seasons, you know. There are seasons for everything. So yeah,
I agree. And I think there's something that you actually said to me which I thought was just so like wise as well when you said to me that even like with Care for Your Hair, you kept the content available for people. And I was like, of course, that's such a good thing because you don't have to stop something, especially when you end on a beautiful note. You can still keep the content out there so that people can still get it if they need it.
Definitely.
Because I definitely went to look at your Instagram for Care for Your Hair, and I was like, she hasn't posted since like 2016
Yeah.
or something crazy. I was like,
Mad.
wow.
And yeah, like, and I'm sure in your case as well, people will understand the growth because the same people that were with you at the beginning of Set Apart Style are growing with you. You know,
It's true.
when I first came across your page, I wasn't a mum then, I wasn't a wife then, but I can identify with that now. So, you know, if that's the path you take things down, we all in this together.
We're in this together, sis, literally.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful. I'm so encouraged. So what do you think is potentially next for the Letter Well?
Oh, what's next? So, by God's amazing grace, it will be, you know, more prints, paper goods, which I started doing. So Christmas time, I brought out some wrapping paper that did really, really well. So I'm thinking about.
They were gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. So I'm thinking about things like that that can be, you know, available throughout the year, just for like gifts and stuff. Cards. So I had some cards out for Valentine's, which did really well as well. And I've just launched some daily pads. So yeah, just really exploring, you know, your desk space and home interior in terms of like prints and stuff. And you know, there are so many amazing people out there that do similar things. But mine is all about, you know, encouraging growth, encouraging you to thrive, encouraging you to bloom. And, you know, it might be as small as waking up and seeing the print on your wall, but the print that I make is with love. It's with the heart that you will be encouraged. You will start the day knowing that you are amazing, that God loves you, you were created for greatness. So yeah, that is the future of the Letter Well.
I love that. Speaking life into people's like hearts and homes.
Definitely.
I really like that.
Definitely.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm looking forward to having more of your products in my home.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much.
And also on my desk. I'm building my desk at the moment, so some of the things will be very, very fitting as well.
Exactly. We're all working from home, so it's like, girl, you can work and be inspired at the same time.
That's it. No, we need that.
Yeah.
Oh, this has been so good. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing with us your journey and encouraging us, because I know, like you said, change is not easy, but it's possible, and you are a living testimony of somebody who's thriving just from literally like stepping out onto the water to do something new.
Thank you. Thank you so
well done. We're proud of you, girl.
Thank you.
So where can people find you? Please tell us, Pelumi. Where can we find you?
Yes, so you can find me on Instagram at The Letter Well, and also website theletterwell.co.uk. So yeah, I'd love to connect with more of you, and hopefully, you know, like serve you in some capacity in the future.
Yes, I'm sure you will if you haven't already done so. So you heard it here, ladies. Please visit the Letter Well for all of your lovely calligraphy products and beautiful, beautiful things for your house and for your desk and things.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Well, that's the end of our episode with Pelumi. If you liked this, please give me, I'm going to give you a thumbs up like I'm on YouTube. I'm really not. If you did like this episode, please like drop me a comment and stuff on Instagram, because that's the only way we can really kind of chat. But I hope you did enjoy this, because I really did. I've got to learn more about Pelumi's story and a bit more about what she's done, and it's encouraged me on a personal level for where I'm at right now. So this stuff is for real. But I guess you'll hear me at my next episode. Bye.